ठीक है ओके बाय ठीक है थैंक यू बाय अभी है क्लास जय उनका पूछ सकते हैं कि अभी क्लास नहीं अच्छा ठीक है कोई नहीं आपका फिर
A very good morning to all. I, Rosie Tigga, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, welcome you all on behalf of Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, and Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Delhi NCR chapter. I take this opportunity to warmly welcome Honorable Chief Guest Dr. D.N. Sansanwal Sir, former Dean Faculty of Education, Devi Ahalya University, Indore, Mr. Nirmal Singh Sir, Secretary, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Principal, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Secretary District Coordinator, Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Delhi NCR Chapter, Professor Satyendra Gupta, Dean School of Education, Galgothias University, Greater Noida, Chairperson, CTEF, Delhi NCR Chapter, Dr. Shruti Tiwari, Principal, School of Education, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, Dr. Akansha Srivastava, Associate Professor, School of Education, Sarda University, Greater Noida, Dr. Anita Singh, Head of Education Department, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, faculties from various parts of India, and my dear students. Once again, I welcome you all on national webinar on the topic National Education Policy 2020, a new and forward-looking vision for teacher education. Before we start the webinar, keeping the cultural tradition, we will begin with Saraswati Vandana. Now, I would like to request Parul Avasti, student of B.Ed first year, for Saraswati Vandana. Over to you, Parul.
आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। माँ सरस्वती की वंदना जो आज मैं आप सबके समक्ष प्रस्तुत करने जा रही हूँ, उसके बोल हैं हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। करुणामयी कल्याण करे कल्याणी माँ। करुणामयी कल्याण करे कल्याणी माँ। हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। दे उजाला राम के प्रिय नाम का, प्रिय नाम का। दे उजाला राम के प्रिय नाम का, प्रिय नाम का। दूर तम कर तिमिर नाशिनी वाणी माँ। दूर तम कर तिमिर नाशिनी वाणी माँ। हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। प्रेम भर दो माँ। आशा गाती रहे मम वाणी माँ हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ करुणामयी कल्याण कर कल्याणी माँ हंस वाहिनी ज्ञानदायिनी वाणी माँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Parul. Continuing with the program, now I would like to introduce the theme of the webinar, the National Education Policy of India 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29 July 2020, outlines the new education system of India. The policy is a comprehensive for elementary education to higher education, as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. The policy aims to transform India's education system by 2040. National Education Policy 2020 envisions an India-centric education system. By delivering high-quality education to all, it contributes directly to our nation long-term transformation towards an equal and thriving knowledge society. Now, I would request Mr. Nirmal Singh Sir, Secretary, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, to please give introduction of Honorable Chief Guest.
Good morning to all the attendees of this national conference. We are indeed feeling elevated that our chief guest, Dr. D.N. Sansanwal, though he do not need any formal introduction, because the educational fraternity of this country knows him too well, especially in the teacher education sector. But since the new education policy, which is having a great focus on the teacher education, we have invited Dr. D.N. Sansanwalji. He is a retired head and Dean Faculty of Education, Devi Ahilya University, Indore. He holds MSc Physics and PhD Education degrees. His areas of specialization are research methodology, experimental design, advanced educational statistics, educational measurement, and evaluation, educational technology, science education, and information and communication technology. He invented jerk technology, multiple discriminatory type items, multiple answers type items, moral discussion, moral and educational clinic. He taught business research methods and quantitative techniques at IIM Indore, also from 2004 to 2008. He also taught business research methods in Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IIFT, prestigious of Ministry of Commerce in New Delhi. He has published extensive both in Indian and foreign journals of repute. After retirement, he has conducted 180 workshops of 7 to 15 days on research methodology, statistics, and use of SPSS all over India. He has given 1,021 webinar lectures, each of 2 to 3 hours on different topics, including research methodology, statistics, and use of SPSS. Dr. Sansanwal was given Best Teacher Educator Award by All India Association of Teacher Educators, India. He has also been on the panel of the National Accreditation Council of India, of UGC. He is also associated with NCT, the apex body for the for the recognition of teacher education institution on India. He was the chairperson of Northern Regional Committee also. We look forward to hear from him about the teacher education with a special focus on the education policy 2020. Over to Dr. Sansanwalji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me at the outset express my gratitude to the Institute Saraswati College, who has given me the opportunity to share some of my views. When I talk, the views will be my personal views. People may not agree, that's a different issue. But I will tell you some salient features of the 2020 education policy. And for that, I have a PPT, because for such type of program, it's always better to have a PPT. So let me share the PPT. See, this is my name, D.N. Sansanwal, and this is my email address. And I will be having some of my reflections on education 2020. See, I will like to make a presentation in this particular sequence. Then I will try to tell you what I mean by reflection. I call it an anatomy of words. Maybe you will find it slightly different, or maybe you might have seen it. Another, I will tell you the salient features of education policy, and then I will talk about the teacher education, and then I will give my own opinion. So when I am saying the salient features of the education policy 2020, it is in general, and then I will talk about the teacher education in particular. So let us start. The word is reflection. What is the meaning of R? R means reason. Because when you are reflecting, then you are trying to think about it. So reason means it's a type of a thinking. Reasoning is normally a convergent one. So you have to have a reason that why should I reflect on it? That is the meaning of the R. E means essential. When you are reflecting on it, when you are thinking about it, you must try to find out what are the essentials, things in it, and then try to enlarge it. Because what E means enlargement. So in this particular policy, whatever is given, maybe you will think beyond it. You may not try to limit yourself only to this, whatever is in the pages. No, you go beyond that. Then F means future perspective should be there. Because whenever you have any reflection on the policy, so what exactly is viewed by the people who develop this particular policy? Because when they develop, then they think that in time to come, this is what will happen. So the future perspective is very important. Then N is a legal. Any document, when you have to take care of the legal aspect, that you should not put anything in that particular document which is legally not all right. It's not as per our constitution. It should not go against the constitution of the India. That's what is important. Another is that although you have this policy, there have been many other policies in the past also, and even do not think this will be the last policy. No, there will be many more policies will be coming. So it's not a very short one. It's a very long journey that one has to travel as far as the education is concerned, and the reshaping of the education or rethinking about the education, what all to be there. Now, later on, I'll tell you there are a lot of changes are coming in, and I will talk about that. E means encouragement. New education policy definitely will encourage lot of people, because there are a lot of variations they have brought, and those variations were required. So therefore, encouragement is very important. And you have to see that this policy is supposed to be efficient, it's supposed to be effective. And because when we introduce it, and then when the students will come out, the type of the abilities, the type of the skills with which they will be empowered, that will talk about the effectiveness of this particular policy. C means choice. In this policy, you will find there are a lot of choices, because the whosoever were the people in of the committee, you know, they thought of that you should have more bring more flexibility into the system, and that is what has been done in this particular one. But there will be large number of the challenges. Okay, so those challenges have to be thought of, and some of the challenges, of course, are highlighted, but some new challenges may emerge as we proceed further on this particular path that is laid down by this particular policy. Then T means think. We have to think, is it all right? Or should we add more, or should we subtract, or what should be done? T means we have to take it forward. And when you are taking it forward, you cannot take it forward in vacuum. You have your past. You should analyze your past and then try to think where to move ahead. Lot of examples I will try to give you later on. Then one should try it out. In fact, when we give the policy, policy is never tried out before it is put into action. Once it is put into action, then of course it is trying out. So therefore, we should, some of the ideas which are already there in this particular one, they are being tried out for the long time. But unfortunately, no systematic study has been undertaken. I will point out what is that. Then I means involvement. We should try to involve people, all those which are connected. I means intention must be good, and it is a good intention. I means inclination. Okay, so that inclination towards our different types of the group, the different type of the learner, the different population which it caters to, all these type of the things are there. O means original. See, this particular policy should have some original ideas, and some of the original ideas you may find, but some ideas you may find they are not original, because they have been there and therefore people have been talking and therefore they have included. Yes, it will happen. And then another is this non-offending, in neutral, that it doesn't offend any particular caste or any particular segment of the society. It is neutral. Because whenever you have a policy, it doesn't aim at a particular target group. No, it doesn't. It is for the whole country. And country as a whole makes united. It's never fragmented type of thing. So therefore, in this policy, I have seen at least it is neutral. And then the last one is that self-confidence, sustainable. This particular policy is sustainable, and I hope to some extent it will develop self-confidence in the students, because the duration of the courses and the activities which they have to undertake during those courses, those things will go a long way as far as the confidence building is there. And so this is what I, in short, talk about what exactly meaning of a reflection. Now, I'll tell you the salient feature of this particular one. Number one is that the purpose of the education system is recognizing, identifying, fostering the unique capabilities of each student. This is what is there. So therefore, they have considered individual learner. An individual learner, so you have to recognize them, you have to identify them, then you have to foster them, and you have to develop their unique capabilities. Each individual, we know it, everyone knows, individual differences are there. So they are thinking that each individual must be the focus of whatever the system is there. But I have my own doubts, although they have given, and we have been talking and talking and talking, at least for the last so many years I have been learning, but I haven't come across anywhere where in the classroom the teacher is able to concentrate on each and every learner. Absolutely no, it is a group. It's never an individual one. But anyway, this is what they are thinking about. Another is they are achieving foundational literacy and numeracy. This is the minimum expectation. And this expectation is not new. This has been there since long. Then there must be some flexibility. And yes, they have brought out the flexibility. And earlier also the flexibility was there. But the degree of flexibility is slightly more in this particular policy. Then there is no hard separation between arts, science, commerce, etc., which I personally feel is not all right. Because the nature of the subject is such that it requires a special abilities of the learners. If they don't have those abilities of the learner, they will not be successful in that particular one. And that is why the subjects have been classified since long. It's not a today's the segregation or the compartmentalization or grouping, whatever you say, it's since long. Because those art subjects, those science subjects, those commerce subjects, the technology subjects, etc., their requirements are very different, but nevertheless, that's what they say, that there will be no hard separation. Now, these two words are very important. No hard. That means soft separation is there. So if you talk, they will say, we have never said that they should not be separate. This is what I personally feel we are not very specific. Okay, so no hard separation. There will be separation, but not hard separation. I don't understand the difference between hard separation and separation. Separation is a separation. There cannot be a hard and there cannot be a soft separation. But anyway, this is what they have said. Then multidisciplinary and holistic education. This is not in this particular policy since long. People have been talking about the multidisciplinary, and there used to be schools, multi-purpose higher secondary schools. I am the product of the multi-purpose higher secondary school. So this multi is not a very new thing here. It is since long it has been happening. But anyway, this is what they say, multidisciplinary and holistic education. If you see the Kothari Commission, there it talks about the holistic education. It's not partistic, it is holistic. Where he says the destiny of India is being shaped in her classrooms, and the main purpose is to develop the personality of the child, the whole personality of the child, which includes everything. Anyway, this is what they are saying. Another is emphasis on conceptual understanding. Why should we talk today about the concept? The day the education is started, right from that day, the concept understanding is important. And let me tell you, my dear friend, whatever little experience I have, even till today, large number of the students are very weak as far as the concepts are concerned. They are very, very, very weak. Why? Only because we never teach concepts. Maximum places, the teachers are using lecture method. Lecture method is never for teaching concepts, never. Some of our teachers even do not know the concept, and they may not be able to highlight the essential attribute of the concepts. So therefore, although they have said writing is something very different, but putting in action is very, very different. Now, how do you expect that in one particular, in Central University, a assistant professor is getting 70,000-80,000, and in private universities or private sector, someone is getting 10,000 or 20,000. How can you compare the abilities, competencies of the two sets of the people? No, absolutely no. And if you go to school, school is still worst. So I don't know, writing is very different, but in reality, it doesn't happen. At least I have seen for the last 60, 70 years, it has not happened. I wish if it can happen later on. Now, creativity and critical thinking. Words are very nice, but how are we going to operationalize it? We keep on talking about creativity. Are there any efforts to understand, to experiment, to find out how the creativity or creative thinking is to be developed? Are there researches where people have come up with some of the solutions of this problem, that how to facilitate the creativity of the people or how to facilitate the thinking? Let me tell you, dear friends, right from the beginning, if you see, when the gurus were there used to be a teacher and a student. And teacher never gave any information to the student until and unless he does not ask for that. That is important. Okay. Now, they were mainly trying to develop the thinking of the person. And these days, from our classroom, the thinking has gone out. It is on paper, but in classroom, really there is no thinking. All the time important is give information, memorize information. In the examination, you keep on writing what you have memorized. That's all. What is this? That will never promote thinking, creativity. It has to be only through education, but through exercises. You know, there are large number of techniques. One is called CORT, cognitive, research, trust. Here is one that there are exercises. You can do exercises, and through exercises, you can definitely improve the thinking of the student. As through physical exercise, you can make your weak muscles strong. That's what you can do. And nowhere it is being done. Of course, I don't want to just tell you here, when I was there in Indore, every week, one period was reserved for exercises on thinking, on reasoning and thinking. And we were giving exercises to the students, no lecture at all. And the net result was that our students in MEd, when they were appearing in the net exam, we used to admit 20 students, at least 16, 17 students used to pass net exam. And when I used to interact with them as a head of the department, then they were saying it's because we have been doing these exercises and these have helped us. So let me tell you these, and we are not doing it now. So this is important. Another is ethics. Of course, everyone talks. It is not something very new. Even at home, the parents say, please don't tell lie, please don't do this, please don't, but still child does. You know, writing is very, don't you think in our society we don't have a pickpocketers? Don't you think in our society, every time when you read the newspaper, it's all negative news, not a positive news. So what is the sense of writing a word like this, ethics? When you are now, if we compare our own society with the society of the other country, you can see the marked difference. I have, of course, not traveled much, but people say that outside India, they never have, the houses never have a boundary. In India, you have a boundary. Why? Because you don't have faith on the people. Your own neighbor is not faithful. So, you know, these other things are written perfectly correct, nothing wrong in that, but how to operationalize it. So that is there, constitutional values, fine. Promoting multilingualism. Now, right at the moment, there is in the 2020 policy, they are laying more emphasis on the local language. And I learned through newspaper that even in IIT, they are going to teach in Hindi. Now, when they are going to teach in Hindi, where is the material? Maximum good books are in English. Even some of our Indian writers also have written in English. Suppose, let us say, we have this language. Now, the South person, when he talks Kannada or any Malayalam or whatever it is, do you mean to say that that particular person, after completing the education, will he be able to take up a job in other state? Will he be able to go out of the India? What will happen? They are saying, I have also read, the minister has said, we are not saying you do not teach English, but workable knowledge. Workable knowledge, and you become fluent in English to express yourself. These are two different things. There is a workable knowledge of Hindi. In some of the states in Gujarat, when you take up a job, you are supposed to pass Gujarati. There will be exam and you have to pass it. But passing exam does not mean that the person is able to talk, is able to converse in Gujarati. No. Then what is the sense? Anyway, you can see that language. Okay. Then life skills, communication, all these are, everyone knows it. How many students I have come across, they cannot write a letter, they cannot express what exactly they are saying. Anyway, so some of the things I'm trying to, yes, technology. Now you have understood it because this pandemic, has taught you, everyone, that online is not at all useful. Everyone is crying, we should be offline, we should be offline. No, now you have got a personal experience of offline and online. And now you know the difference. Parents know the difference. Learner knows the difference. Then what happens to the correspondence courses? These Indira Gandhi National Open University and other open universities. When the students are taking the degree, what is the sense of the degree? Because when they are not able to gain, able to understand, able to do, then what's the sense of it? I don't know, understand. Yes, you get a degree, but getting degree means what? And now emphasis is that we must enroll 50% and therefore the people should be illiterate. Now everyone will have a certificate, everyone will have a degree, then what? If the person is not able to write, is not able to express, is not able to develop those abilities and competencies which helps him to have a job and therefore he can pass it, then there's no sense of it. Anyway, but technology, and now I have read in the newspaper again that 40% of the credits can be earned online. So 60% you can have from your own institute, own university, and 40% you can have outside the university and outside the institute. What will be the sense of that? Yes, the student will have a certificate, but then what is the use of that certificate? Anyway, but that's what is happening. Outside India, I don't know that those countries where you have more Nobel laureates, etc., Nobel laureates, etc., they are not having such type of things. Of course, in pandemic they had, but otherwise they don't have these type of things as we have so many varieties in India. Anyway, we have to respect the diversity, that's fine, nice. Local context, as I have already told about it. Then full equity and inclusion, yes, that's what the government is trying to do it. Synergy in curriculum across all level. The word is very nice, synergy, but will it be there? Now, due to pandemic, they have reduced, the CBSE board has reduced the syllabus. Some 15% or so it has been reduced. Now, those topics which have been taken out, and when they go to the first year, then how will they really understand? Because the connected topic they have not studied. And this is more problem in science. In arts also, but not to that extent. Teacher and faculty at the heart of the, yes, that's always there. Then a light but tight regulatory framework to ensure integrity and the transparency. Yes, all these type of the things are there. They have been, people have been talking since long, but nothing is happening. There are different statutory bodies. What are they doing? I don't know, because once honesty is not there, nothing will happen. Each individual has to be honest. And I'm saying very loudly and clearly, in India, we are not very honest. Unfortunately, we have to be honest in our dealing. We have to, if I don't know, then I say, I'm sorry, I don't know. But still we teach. We don't know, still we teach. We take wrong information from the books and pass it on to the students. The teacher who is taking the information has a duty, a responsibility to first find out whether whatever information is going to give to the student is correct or not. If it is not correct, although it is written in the book, why should he pass on this information to the student? He should not. You know, like this, there are many outstanding research. Now you talk of a research, and I'm sure you have heard, at least I heard the president talking that the quality of research in India is very, very poor. Number one, some few days back, I read it. It was UGC talk that more than 90% of the PhDs which have been awarded, they are substandard. Then what is it? What is outstanding research? If a handful of the people are doing outstanding research, it doesn't mean it is outstanding research. You know, there are lot of things are there which is not okay. Continuous review. Yes, we are trying. NAC is trying to do that. But after NAC, for 5 years, what happens? Institute again to the old one. No improvement. Whatever NAC peer team, they suggest some of the things, they are not implemented by the colleges. Then what is the sense of that? Anyway, public service and all that. So like this, there are so much, and I think I have taken more time. So Dr. Singh, please, do you want me to continue or I should stop it? Because still there is a lot many things which I have to share, but since time is there, is over. So I think I should give chance to the other people to talk rather than I, old man, talking.
Sir, you can continue. It is very interesting. And the whole house is full, sir.
No, house is full. That is all right, sir. But I think I will take more, another half an hour or so. I don't know. Dr. Sanjay Kumar, what do you suggest, please?
सर मैं आपको कैसे सजेस्ट कर सकता हूँ? टेक योर ऑन डिसीजन.
कुछ तो सजेस्ट करना पड़ेगा.
क्योंकि अगर हम टाइम के उसको देखते हैं तो सर मेरे ख्याल से नेक्स्ट 15 मिनट्स में अगर आप उसको कंक्लूड कर दें तो बड़ा अच्छा होगा, क्योंकि अदर जो रिसोर्स पर्सन है वो भी, उनको भी टाइम मिल पाएगा फिर थोड़ा सा वो करने का.
मैं भी यही सोच रहा हूँ, क्योंकि फिर दूसरे लोग बागों का ये कोई कोर्स तो है नहीं. Completed in this, but you can keep on talking and talking and talking.
Yes sir, definitely.
I think I should just one more slide and then I say bye-bye to you. See, teacher education. I think I should stop it here. I need not to bother about the teacher education. I only can say, my dear friend, in the teacher education, lot of flexibility they have brought, but without applying the mind. See, I'll just take 2 minutes. We already have regional institute of educations for pretty long time. And they are having 4-year integrated course. It is not a new course at all. It's since long. When I did my B.Ed, it is there even before that. And so you can understand some 60, 70 years old. Now, when you have the 4-year integrated course, you should understand their setup. They have now today is a B.Ed college. How do you expect the B.Ed college to have lot of classrooms, to have the science lab? Where is the space to expand? So how can you say that now you have to have 4-year integrated course? And when you have 4-year integrated course, at that time, the graduation was 3 years and B.Ed was 1 year. And now the time has come and your graduation is not 3 years. Delhi University is having now 4 years. So graduation is 4 years and your B.Ed is 2 years, then it must be 6 years. If it is not 6 years, it must be 5 years. But it is not. That is unfortunate. I think those people who try to, become who are the part and parcel of the different committees who are thinking, they should think loudly and they should try to see the parity also. It's a very important thing. Anyway, with that, I'm thankful to the Institute to have given me this opportunity, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
To you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, so nice of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving information about NEP 2020. Very well explained about reflections, silent features of NEP 2020 and teacher education. Thank you once again, sir, for giving your personal views about NEP 2020. Now, I would request Dr. Sanjay Kumar, sir, Principal, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, for the introduction of guest speaker. Over to you, sir. So your voice is not audible.
इंट्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करने से पहले मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि मैंने सनसनवाल सर को पहली बार सुना और मुझे इतना अच्छा लगा कि डेफिनेटली फेस टू फेस मोड में हम एक एफडीपी सर के साथ जरूर रखेंगे आगे आने वाले टाइम में। और मैं उसके लिए निर्मल सर को धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा कि उन्होंने सनसनवाल सर का जो ये आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस में सर ने जो भी बताया हमें संभव हो पाया, वो निर्मल सर के वजह से हो पाया, क्योंकि इससे पहले कभी ऐसी मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिली सुनने की। और ऐसे ये वो लोग हैं, मतलब खजाना है नॉलेज का इन लोगों के पास, अपनी पूरी जिंदगी जो है वो खपाई है इन्होंने इस चीज में। तो ये हम जैसे यंगस्टर्स को या जो हमारे बाद में है उनको अगर कुछ ओरिजिनल मिल सकता है तो इन्हीं लोगों से मिल सकता है डेफिनेटली। अब मैं अपनी बात को स्टार्ट करूंगा। स्क्रीन शेयर हो गई है, नजर आ रही है मैम आपको?
यस सर।
ओके, थैंक यू. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's National Conference on New Education Policy 2020, a new and forward-looking vision for teacher education, hosted by Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, in association with CTF Delhi NCR chapter. The aim of the conference is to provide a common platform to all the stakeholders of teacher education, the managements, principals, faculty members, research scholars, students and people from schools to deliberate on diverse perspective of the new education policy 2020 with reference to teacher education, understanding its role in transforming teacher education, and to discuss the practical challenges that may be encountered during the implementation of this policy. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to welcome everyone on this very special occasion. First, I will welcome Dr. D.N. Sansalwal sir, former Head and Dean, Faculty of Education, Devi Ahilya University, Indore. I welcome Sri Nirmal Singh ji, Founder and Secretary of the College. और मैं देख रहा था अभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स में जो हमारे नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट हैं CTF के भंडारकर सर, वो भी मुझे नजर आए थे, तो मैं उनको भी वेलकम करता हूँ इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में. Now, on the behalf of College and CTF Delhi NCR, I welcome our first resource person, Dr. Satyendra Gupta, Professor and Dean, School of Education, Galgotia University, Greater Noida. He is founder of the School of Education of Galgotia's University. He has more than 20 years of teaching and administrative experience. He remained on the panel of the subject experts of DLED programs run by NIS Noida in year 2018-19. He has delivered 21 lectures on live telecast on TV channel and taken 4 radio counseling sessions for the NIOS. He has also served as VT member in NCT for the inspection of the teacher education institutions. Sir, you have been a research paper reviewer in various national journals. Sir, you have published 27 research papers in various national and international journals and 12 book chapters. You have presented more than 36 papers in various national or international conferences. You have also remained a member of Board of Studies of Sarda University. You have been awarded in 2022 by Rotary Club Sahibabad for your contribution in education field during 2020 and 21 during the COVID era. Sir, you are a life member of the various professional organizations of the teacher education. You are founder chairperson of the CTF Delhi NCR chapter. Sir, we are grateful to you for accepting our invitation and becoming a resource person for your today's national conference. Now, I welcome our second resource person, Dr. Shruti Tiwari ma'am, Principal, School of Education, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. She is a motivated and confident educator having various expertise and vast experience in the field of teaching and educational administration and management. She is postgraduate in organic chemistry, education and business administration. She has a PhD in management education. As a research supervisor, she has supervised more than 75 dissertations at PG level, and 9 research scholars have been completed their research work under your supervision. Ma'am, you have more than 50 research publications in various international, national, peer-reviewed UGC Care Scopus Journal. 1 copyright through Government of India is awarded this year to you. You are an active member of various committees and convener of DRC Education, Board of Studies Education and Faculty of Education. You have been special invitee of Academic Council and Member Research Board Committee. You have been awarded with Education Leadership Award by 27th Business School Affair Devang Mehta National Education Award in 2019. You have represented your university on various national or international platforms. Ma'am, we are grateful to you for accepting our invitation and becoming a resource person for today's national conference. Now, I welcome our third resource person, Dr. Akansha Srivastav, who is currently working as an associate professor with the School of Education, Sarda University, Greater Noida. Her academic qualifications include a doctorate in education from Nagpur University, along with MSc in anthropology, a master's in education, and an MA in English. She is also NET qualified in education and anthropology. She has been awarded with gold medals for her MEd and MA degrees. She has completed many renowned national and international certificate courses. She has published 14 research papers in reputed national or international journals. She has presented more than 15 papers in various national or international seminars. She has conducted many professional development programs on teacher education at national or international level. She has delivered many invited lectures and acted as a resource person in various workshops and conferences. She has been awarded with different prestigious awards also. Ma'am, we are grateful to you for accepting our invitation and becoming a resource person for today's national conference. Now I welcome the organizing secretary of our national conference, Dr. Anita Singh ma'am, Head of Education Department, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Program Coordinators, Ms. Rosie Tiga ma'am and Ms. Salini Sharma ma'am, Assistant Professors, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad. Now, on the behalf of Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad and CTF Delhi NCR chapter, I welcome principals, administrators, faculty members, students who are participating in the national conference from more than 24 states of the India. Dear participants, we are grateful to you for accepting our invitation and becoming part of today's national conference. Now, without any further delay, I would like to request Ms. Rosie ma'am to move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Satendra Gupta, sir, Dean School of Education, Galgotia University, Greater Noida, Chairperson, CTEF, Delhi NCR chapter. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the invitation and allowing me to this workshop. Let me share my screen. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to all. I, Dr. Gupta, I want to extend my thanks to all of you. And first of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Saraswati College of Professional Studies for organizing this today's National Conference on New Education Policy 2020. And as on the request of the college, as I am given the responsibility to say, to express my views on the structural changes in the teacher education. This is the first theme of the first day of the national conference. So I would like to start my presentation. And just as Sanjay sir, you told that about the Sansanwal sir, definitely he spoke very well. And he just gave only one comment on the teacher education, and this is the we can say the present situation of the teacher education. As we all are aware that on July 30, 2020, the National Education Policy 2020 was released by the central government. And we all know that that policy is released just after the 3 months of the COVID and lockdown experience in the country. And we all aware that before that in 2019, they presented and they given the draft of the National Education Policy for the views. And we know that more than 2 lakh views were given, suggestions were given after that, and experience, including the experience of the lockdown. So then the new education policy was released. And we are having the knowledge that there are 2 parts, especially one is the school education and second one is the higher education. And in chapter number 15, teacher education is given the space in this education policy, and very at a length they discussed about the situation of the teacher education in the present, what is the present status of the teacher education in the country. So I will not go in the detail. I just want to remind here in the country, we are having the 2 regulators, those who are regulating the teacher education in the country. One is the RCI, Rehabilitation Council of India, which is regularizing or giving the permission to run the teacher education programs which are special education related. And second one, most talked, is the NCTE, National Council for Teacher Education. This is for general teacher education program. And in the National Education Policy, they have talked about only the NCTE. So what will happen with the RCI? This is not given in the policy. And we all know that RCI is giving the approval in the teacher education programs from the certificate level to master's degree. Even they are also offering the integrated and open learning. And as I gone through the website, so on present day, they are offering around 60 programs in 15 various disability fields with the duration of 1 year to 4.5 years. So more than 60 types of programs are being offered by the RCI to give the support to the special children through the teacher education. And we all know about the NCT, National Council for Teacher Education. So after including the ITEP in the October 2021, so presently NCT is offering 15 types of teacher education programs. And these programs including physical education, performing art, visual arts, and the general teacher education programs. So ITEP, Integrated Teacher Education Program, is the latest. And I am very honored and hearing the views of the Sansalwar sir, and very rightly he told that he already 4 years integrated teacher program is being run by the various RCIs in the country. So why they are suggesting first to implement the in only 50 central government universities, which they are proposing and which the news are coming through the various sources, but officially it is not announced on the NCTE or any other government websites what is the policy and to whom or to which institutes they will give the permission to start the ITEP. And very surprisingly, in the 2014, when the NCT started its 2-year duration program, So then they also offered the BA and BSc integrated B.Ed. BA, B.Ed, BSc, B.Ed or BCom, B.Ed. So already it is a 4-year program. So how ITEP will be different from the BA, B.Ed and BSc, B.Ed. So time will tell us about the new changes, the proposed changes in the ITEP. And NCT is also offering the various teacher education programs under the diploma, degree, masters, and open learning also. And we all know that other than the teacher education program, there are many programs are available which are in general education like BA education, MA in education, MPhil in education, and PhD also we can do in the general education. So we also know there are so many entry level in the teacher education program. After 12th class, we can do DLED, BLED, NTT. After graduation, we can take admission in the Bachelor of Education. Here I want to highlight that in some states like UP, DLED is allowed after only the graduation. And after B.Ed, we can pursue our M.Ed. And after M.Ed, we can also pursue the MPhil in education, also the PhD in education. So these are the various levels of teacher education programs. And also again, we have the so many various types of teacher education programs like pre-primary teacher education, primary teacher education, higher education, and secondary teacher education. And now, this is the main theme of the today's presentation. So what are the structural changes are proposed through the NEP 2020? So I will focus here. And before that, I would like to correlate the teacher education with the proposed changes in the school system. Because ultimately we are preparing the teachers to teach in the schools. And now on the left side, you can see the existing academic structure of the school. So informally, we are also offering the pre-primary or nursery or play schools or the crèches. But these are not officially included by the government in the education system. Officially, government is supporting the education from class 1 to class 12. And the entry level in class 1 is around age 5 years or 6 years. So there is a one stage is 1 to 10, because we know the present system is known as the 10 plus 2. So class 1st to 10th, and after that 2 years we have the class 11th and 12th. So it is known by various names like senior secondary, higher secondary. So this is the existing system of the school. And now as per the NEP, government through this policy proposed to redesign the academic structure of the school system. So now government officially included the students of age 3 years plus in the school education system, whether they are the Anganwadis or the various platforms which will support the students' education from the age 3 year plus. So the policy is talking about the 3 years starting or initial education of the students through the playway method. It is stated that in the policy, they will not given the formal education. They will just learn through the playway method and some basic learning about the numeracy and the language. After that, they also included class 1st and 2nd. So now the primary level, which is from class 1 to class 5, it is divided into two stages. So first will come under the class 1st and 2nd. So including the pre-primary of the present system or in the future through the Anganwadi or pre-primary. So 5 years is the initial learning for the students. And after that, class 3rd to 5th, that means 3 years will be divided in the second stage. After that, the class 6 to 8, 3 years, age 11 to 14. And after that, again 4 years by integrating the class 9 to 12. So age group will be from 14 to 18. So this is the new structure proposed through the education policy. So now again, school will come under the 4 stages. Again, I am repeating: foundational stage or multi-level play activity based learning, then preparatory stage, which is the name given, the play discovery activities, and after that middle stage of 3 years, class 3rd, 4th and 5th, then secondary stage, and after that senior secondary level we can see from 9 to 12. So these are the stages which will come in the existence in the school system. So I am in favor that our teacher education should be integrated with the new changes which are coming to the schools. Because presently we are offering the DLED, so which is related to the primary education, class 1st to 5th. Then we have the B.Ed program, which is especially focused from class 6 to 10th. And some states for the class 11th and 12th teachers, they are not required to do the B.Ed program. But in the like Kendriya Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya and many other states governments, they are also compulsory. They have made the B.Ed is a compulsory for the to become the PGT also in the school level. So when now we are offering the 4 different stages of the school system, so that's why the policy should also focus on the schooling with the teacher education, integration between the teacher education program and the schooling. But in the policy, we can now in the next stage I am talking about. So before giving the details, so these are the some highlights which I came to know through the official Facebook page of the NCT, because on their website there is nothing official till date. They have published what they are going to do in the future, or what is the planning they are doing in the favor of ITEP and other 2-year B.Ed program and 1-year B.Ed program. But through their Twitter page and the Facebook page, so they are publishing some information, so which I have copied from there and just pasted here for your information. So presently NCT is working on 4-year integrated teacher education program. In short, it is known as the ITEP. And they have also constituted a committee to give the curriculum for the 2-year B.Ed program. And also they have constituted separate committee to give the structure, course structure for the 1-year B.Ed program. So these are the 3 types of teacher education program is being proposed by the NCT. What will happen to other 16 programs which are already being offered by the NCT? Nowhere the information is here. So this is the page which I copied from their Facebook page. So now they are working on the 4-year integrated teacher education program. And just one question Dr. Sansanwal raised, how it will be different from the already being offered by the RIEs. So we have to wait for the answer. Second one is the 2-year Bachelor of Education program. Again, they are preparing the curriculum and syllabus for the 2-year B.Ed program. So again, they are highlighting there. So what is their vision? So their vision is that professional education courses they will have, pedagogic courses they will also have, professional competency courses they are also planning to integrate in this 2-year B.Ed program. And they are also planning to engagement with the school and community. So how it will take a concrete shape. And again, as we know that the policy also proposed to start 1-year B.Ed program, those who will come in this system after their master. If somebody is interested to become the teacher after completing his or her master degree, so then they will be allowed to do only 1 year of B.Ed program. So again, they are highlighting that in the 1-year B.Ed program, the NCT is planning to integrate 21st century skills, sports integrated education, technology integration, experiential learning, best practices, art integrated education, value education, languages. So very comprehensive curriculum they are trying to make for the 1-year B.Ed program. So these are the 3 programs which are proposed by the NCT. And again, what will happen with the physical education? So still waiting for the answer. What about the art education? How they will integrate through the ITEP? And again, the NCT is also working, or it is given the responsibility to frame the national professional standards for teachers, NPST. So NCT is also doing so many workshops and conferences. They are also working on the NPST to framing the rules for the teachers. What will be the standards should a teacher follow for the professional development? And now I come to highlight what is written in the NEP 2020. So here you can see that from in chapter number 5, the NEP is talking about the teachers on page number 20 in the English version. You will see here. So here they accepted through the official document the present stage of the teacher is not satisfactory, and what we had in the past is not we are having in the present system. So again, the NEP supporting that the reputation of the teacher should be uplift. And now about the teachers, again on page number 23, you will find that what should be the approach to teacher education. So it is described in the chapter number 5. Even you can see here points 5.22 to 5.29. So here again, these are the repetitions. So in the policy, it is decided that so by 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teachers will be 4 years integrated BA degree. So till 2030, so now we have the 8 more years fully implementation of the 4-year integrated teacher education program, and then 2 years and 1 year also. So as I told, just the 1-year program only for those who will obtain the master's degree, and 2 years B.Ed program those who have obtained the bachelor's degree and now they are interested to pursue the teacher education. So they can pursue the 2 years B.Ed, or after 12th, students come in the teacher education system for the 4-year integrated B.Ed. And so again, I will quote here Sansanwal sir. Rightly, he told that now, as per the NEP, graduation will become 4 years and B.Ed is again 2 years. So I can say here that this is a time saving of 2 years, a precious time of a person's life. So 2-year time will save if somebody enters in the teacher education just after his class 12. So I think this is a motivation for the students. Early you decide to become a teacher, like that our parents tell us to become the engineer or doctor or architect or law, integrated law. There are so many programs which are being offered just after the 12th. So why not to become a teacher? So हम सब ने अपने बचपन में everybody plays the teacher in our childhood. But when we become grown up, when we come out in the school system and when we leave the school, then very few think about to become the teachers. So why should not we have one option after the 12th class? So this integrated teacher education program will give the one scope, and it will save the 2 years very precious time for a human being life. And early you decide to become a teacher and you will save the 2 years program. And definitely after ITEP, you can also pursue a master's degree and you can also move towards a different direction. But for a whole life, you will have 1 degree to become a teacher. And whenever you want to become a teacher in your next phase of the life, so again, you will have 1 degree in your hand, and anytime you can enter in the school to become a teacher. And now also in the this policy, they have also talked about the local teacher education program through the BITES, DIETS, etc. So, and the policy is also emphasizing to include the eminent local persons, as it is telling about the vocal for the local. So it is a good thing in the policy. We should integrate, or we should include the local persons, those who are having the knowledge, those who are having the experience, and those who are interested to share their experience with the students, so they should include in our teacher education program, and through them we can enrich the knowledge of the local students, and we will also come to know about the local specialty of any local area. Because many times when a teacher especially joins the government system of education or the schools or even in the teacher education, so sometimes we have to move away from our native place. And whenever we come to a new place, so then we should come to know about what are the characteristics of the locality. So the local persons definitely will enrich the knowledge of the teachers and the students, and they will motivate them about the local culture, local music, art, craft. So this type of motivation we can give through the local teacher education program. And also it is talking about to develop the leadership and management quality and various skills in the students. In the next part, it is also talking about the composite multidisciplinary institutions. So as we know, it is not favoring the standalone teacher education institutions. So policy is telling that institutions should be multidisciplinary, or already we are having so many programs, and through these institutions only teacher education program should be allowed. So definitely I am in favor of that approach, because I am teaching in the Galgotia University, so I can share my knowledge. So we are having here so many programs: engineering, architecture, nursing, hospitality. So here even we are offering the BSc, BA, other various programs we are offering. So here I can share from my knowledge and my experience. Definitely this enrich the exposure of the students. They also learn about the various activities which are being done by the other students, and this also supports the students' learning. So definitely this should be happen in our country. So it is time is being given to the standalone teacher education institutions to convert themselves into a composite or the multidisciplinary institutions by 2030. So still 8 years are there, so we can upgrade our institutions. And also as it is again repeating here, so in the 15.5 you will find about the 4-year integrated teacher education program, and here they are through the policy, it is supported that students should have the dual major bachelor degree, one in the education or as well as a specialized subject like that in language, history, music. So what is the background of the student, or what he or she learned during her schools, or what were the even NEP is also supporting the students to now in the future we will not see the separate discipline like science, arts, commerce or humanities. It is also offering the integration. So only we will have only one major subject like that. I am interested to pursue the physics in a major way. So all 3 years of 4 years I will study the physics as a major subject, and in subsidiary I can also have the arts courses or any other course. So this type of approach is coming to the country, and how much it will come, the time will tell us, because we have the experience. Especially I will quote here from our independence, the Radhakrishnan Commission or Modaliar Commission, or especially in the 1986 policy on education. So we know that about the Kothari Commission. So not the 100% recommendations ever implemented in the country. So definitely these are the guiding forces. These are the just policy which are giving us the direction. In this direction we should move forward now. So how much they are implemented, time will say, but this is a good thing which will come in the system, and the students will increase their horizon, and they can also pursue the interested subjects which they also want to study. So it is offering that language, history, music, mathematics, computer science, chemistry, various subjects are written here. or as well as the sociology, history, science, etc. And especially last line I want to give your attention, knowledge of India. The policy is talking about the knowledge of India through the teacher education program. So again, we are seeing the various seminars, conferences are being conducted to include the knowledge of India in the system. So now the government is emphasizing we should broaden the knowledge of our past, which are written in our Vedas, in our Upanishad, Purans, or in various other documents. So these should come under the formal system of education, whether it is in the higher education or at the school level. So it is talking about the knowledge of India. Here I want to again take your attention. Whenever we talk in our teacher education, whenever we talk about the philosophy or sociology or psychology, so we always take the reference from the Western philosophers, Western thinkers, Western sociologists. In our syllabus of the B.Ed program, nowhere we found or nowhere we are studied about what is the Indian thoughts, how we can develop the student psychology through the Indian knowledge, what our ancestors have worked about the psychology of the student is not the part of the present curriculum system of our teacher education. So it is a good thing, and now work is going on what knowledge we can integrate in our system. And what is the future of the NCT? So we know that the policy is also focusing to convert the statutory body of the NCT as just a regulator for the pace setting institutions. So it will not have the wholesale authority in the present system. So it will be act like a PSSB, professional standard setting bodies under the GEC, General Education Council. So government is proposing through the Higher Education Commission. So 4 different bodies are recommended. So NCT will become only the one of the part of that body, only standard setting body. What should be the standard of the teacher education in the country? So only that role will remain. It is hoped through the documentation of the National Education Policy. And the major role will come of the GEC, General Education Council. So through this chart, we can understand what will be the role of the NCT in future. So it will become NPST, National Professional Standards for teachers, then PSSB, Professional Standard Setting Bodies, and then the GEC, General Education Council, will be the bigger body in the country. So still we are waiting for the government announcement, what in the solid form they are bringing in the system. So that's all the responsibility which I am giving. So I just kept myself just to stick about what is the role or what is the changing role of the NCT. So I think I kept my time, Sanjay ji, or
Definitely, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
if any question, anything, so then I will answer here. Otherwise, we can move forward.
सर शेयरिंग रिमूव कर दीजिएगा ये वेबसाइट वाली.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us about the structural changes in teacher education. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shruti Tiwari ma'am, Principal, School of Education, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity in the conference or delivering my some views on the particular topics. I'm going to share my screen. So welcome you all for listening to the particular topic of my area, that is optimal learning environments and support for students, with a new and forward-looking vision for teacher education under the new Education Policy 2020. My objective of today's presentation basically correlates with some points to understand the optimal learning and learning environment in context to schools as well as the higher education students and teacher education, because I'm seeing that many students are here to listen us. So basically we are the teachers. So I hope we have to understand the technical terminology which is present in the education policy, and it's our duty to make them understand to the students also. So first of all, we will going to understand the optimal learning situations and the learning environment, what is actually the, in context to teacher education students and teacher education areas, and to know the resources to create the conducive learning environment for our professionals or the professional teachers, what is actually the student support is, and to map this optimal learning and student support to NEP 2020, which is we are going to visualize with the new trends, with a new vision, and with extraordinarily thinking of various experts of our country, and which is very much important to make us understand the vision and mission of teacher education programs throughout the country. I suppose it is very much important aspect to implement the NEP in various institutions. So first of all, we have to provide the environment for implementing the policy successful in near future, or you can say from today onwards, in the colleges and the universities. So how to create this environment in teacher education in 21st century? I'm talking in 21st century because we are just moving towards this 21st century era where we are having a different kind of atmosphere as well as the environment which is completely transferred or transformed with the new approaches of learning. So how to create this environment? How can we create in the teacher education institutes? It is only possible to provide equitable, culturally responsive and rigorous curriculum and instructions, because effective learning requires a comprehensive approach that involves appropriate curriculum. These are not my words, it is present in the NEP. I am just taking these statements from that the topic number 15, teacher education, where the national education policy is saying that please provide the equitable and culturally responsible and rigorous curriculum to the teacher education programs, where the comprehensive approach should be very much clear in the mind of teacher educators as well as the administrators and management of these colleges and institutions, as well as you have to create emotional, intellectual, and physical safe environment also to provide the supportive environment to the students so that they come with maximum outcomes, what you are just giving in the institutions. Meet the needs of diverse learners. This is, we all know very much clearly that we all are the teachers and we are treating or we are dealing with the diversity in the terms of education, on the diversity in terms of students, diversity in terms of curriculum and various ones. So we have to meet with this standard that every learner, each learner will understand the motto and the objective of teacher education, why he is going to become a teacher. Use of engaging pedagogy, continuous formative assessment, and adequate student support. Without these three things, we cannot talk about the 21st century education or the education which we want to provide in coming years, because you all know very well that the transformation is already started with the COVID pandemic era. We cannot, we cannot say this thing that we cannot understand the importance of ICT, importance of traditional methods, importance of online education. We have to adopt all these things regularly in our teaching learning processes. So it is actually required from very long years back. The teacher education is emphasizing to integrate the ICT in the teacher education program, but unfortunately, we are not listening carefully, seriously to this part of policies. But anyway, how can we create the optimal learning? And actually the optimal learning mean, what we understand with this term is learning attained when learner is able to understand the new information to create valuable outcomes from it. 21st education needs. I have taken this picture from the internet because I find this is the most suitable picture to introduce the optimal learning design framework, because this picture divides into 3 blocks in which we can say that how optimal learning is given, or you can say the attained by the learner, because as soon as the learner will not able to create the valuable outcomes, what he is actually learning or understanding in our classrooms, we cannot say that learning takes place. These 3 parts, which is actually related to create the environment in each and every institution, is divided into 3 parts. First of all, human resources. We all are included, it's in part. Content sources and web collaboration resources. These 3 parts is too much inculcating the environment in the teacher education institutions, where we can include that if instructors like us, like teacher educators, provide the internal and external resources to the students to make them understand the topics as well as the content which is present in the curriculums. Subject matter experts should be there with all resources, with all kind of expertise. The students itself should be very much keen, very much attentive, very much curious, and the peers. After that, peer learning support should be inculcated in the environmental resources in the form of institutions. Now, the content resources or the content sources which you are going to provide in the classes, not only confined with the next textbooks only, it should be on the open educational resources, which is present tremendously on the different e-content sources or internet sources, where the student should 100% go and search their content at the global standard. Not only India, not only in Gujarat and Maharashtra or Rajasthan, what the context is, the teacher education program should be learn at the global standard. What is the teacher education mean? Confined not only to the India, but all over the world. What other countries are doing, what other countries are thinking on those part should be provided to the student so that the student understand what is actually the concepts of teacher education programs as well as the teacher education courses. Institutional resources institution should be very well equipped with all kind of these resources in their libraries, in their resource centers, in their classrooms, with their teachers, all. The instructors also create their own resources to provide them to understand, to make them learn. Now the various resources are generated on the websites in the form of e-contents, in the form of their videos and other type of resources are now should be provided to them and make them learn to create as well. Now the social media sites and the social media is one of the most demanding as well as most important aspect, which is now including in the education system. We cannot left them behind. We cannot ignore them. We have to listen to the social media for our regular updations. So the students are to be in contact with the social media sites to make the recent trends, to make the understanding, make them understand with the recent trends as well as the resources out of the country as well as in the country too. Web collaboration resources, you know very well, all the students, that we are having the Wikipedias and other kind of resources on the internet. Now the blogs are also, the various educators are writing their blogs and presenting their views on different aspects of the teacher education, or also writing on their blogs. So you just take all the contents from those blogs and understand the concepts, recent trends, and the everything theoretical as well as the practical aspects of these courses. You have to adapt the apps for creating and sharing the contents, video sharing and creating, document sharing and collaboration. We have to make them understand. We have to learn them with this kind of tools, teaching learning tools. We have to train with all those equipments, all those resources, all their tools to train in teacher training programs. Now, what is actually the requirements or the areas where we needed to provide the student support as well as to provide the optimal learning environment? All the teacher educators and the experts of this field should innovate on matters of curriculum, pedagogy. Here, I want to suggest all of the teacher educator institutes that go with the digital pedagogy, add the digital pedagogy in the curriculums so that we cannot be far behind or in lack of any kind of latest trends of teaching pedagogies, and assessment across the ODL, online and traditional and class modes. We have to train now, this time has come, that not only the traditional mode of teacher training should be implemented in the teacher education institutes, but we have to train on ODL, online modes also. We have to include all these modes of training of teachers in the teacher education institutes. 2 years curriculum framework, as well as I have left with the word integrated courses of teacher education curriculum framework needs to map up with the NEP 2020, for which an extensive exercise on curriculum design and its content requires through workshops, regular workshops, and roundtable discussions, panel discussions, or faculty development programs specifically to innovate the utilization of teaching pedagogies in the classrooms as per the current and individual needs. This is the most important aspect we have to look after. We have to review this thing again before implementing the new education policies or go through with the national education policies in the education institutions. Proper understanding and implementation of CBCS, it's a credit-based choiced system, and credit transfer schemes to be initiated by teacher education institutes throughout the country so that the student support and academic flexibility can be provided to them. CBCS and the credit transfer schemes is actually possible in the semester systems. The teacher education institutes which are running on the year-based system will not able to integrate the CBCS and credit transfer schemes. Here, we have to think over that, the teacher education institution. For example, this previous speaker is saying that the special education part and the general education part of teacher education is governing with the two bodies. If we can think over it that the credit-based choice system is implemented in the curriculums, may be possible. Some of the courses from special education can be integrated in the general education so that students will get the more opportunities as well as the academic flexibilities. If I want to go with the special education, I cannot go. It is not possible for me for training the special educators because I have not completed my MD degree in the special education. But if we are having the skills, if we are having the attitudes to deal with the special children, why should we cannot do this? If this kind of integration is possible, so we have to think over it that if conducive learning environment as well as the student support and the more opportunities, if you want to give the students, this kind of limitation should be removed under the NEP 2020. And through this credit-based choice system, a student will learn a lot because the student is having the opportunity as well as the thing, or you can say the student is having its own interest. Okay, if he want to learn the pedagogy of social sciences along with the science subject, we can, for example, I did my MSc in MSc chemistry, but equally I am interested in history also. Our system is not allowing me to take the pedagogy of teaching history because I have not studied 2 years, continuous 2 years in history in my graduation. But a new education policy is giving this opportunity to take me one subject, history, along with chemistry. So this is a good step. We can implement it so we can remove this limitation for adopting the pedagogies. Yes, it should not be like that or taken it granted. You have taken the pedagogies as per your own interest, but this is important that actually if you are having the attitudes as well as the aptitudes to teach the subjects, you can integrate through this CBCS or the credit transfer schemes in the curriculums. You can adopt the policy in the teacher education institutions also, which is actually not, presently it is not, I'm not seeing anything anywhere, this kind of policy till today. So I promote or I request to the panel if this kind of things can be reviewed and can be implemented in near future, the teacher education students or the teacher education institutions along with the students will get more opportunities to explore the teacher education programs. Now, in my view, the development of leadership and decision-making qualities, if you want to support the students, if you want to provide the conducive and learning environment, we have to work on this aspect, which is actually related to development of their leadership qualities and their decision-making qualities. Because teachers and teacher educators should be known for their extraordinary leadership and powerful decision-making characteristics. And this should not be, or this is never to be ignored by any teacher education institute. We should have mechanism and opportunity for providing the platforms in the form of clubs and communities, which should be completely driven by students in the institution, including fundraising to all financial capabilities and other than activities organized by students with the help of faculty and other experts as per need. If we provide this kind of, we are organizing the various cultural activities in the department. Maximum time it is observed that duties are assigned to the teachers to complete these activities. But I suggest that this kind of activities should be given to the students so that they can develop, they can inculcate the leadership and the decision-making quality. I'm happy to share with this that some of the conferences and webinars are completely handled by our students in last 2 years. We have given this opportunity to conduct the webinars and organize the seminars and conferences completely in the hand of the students so that they can understand, they can have this kind of opportunities to take the decisions on the various experts. The students are having this power to decide the experts also in the university. I have given this opportunity 2-3 times to the students, and the students are very much happy to organize these kind of seminars. So this is one of the examples, but I am just saying this, if we want to provide the environment, learning environments, so we should give some powers, we should give some faith to the students, and not only 1 or 2 clubs, various kind of clubs and communities activities should be given in the curriculum also, in the form of extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities also. It's not simply essay writing or language reading or dance or singing kind of competition, but extraordinarily high order thinking skills kind of activities, and where they should develop, where they can develop their decision making powers strong, so we can give the optimal learning environments in the institutions. Clubs and events dedicated to specifically in the domain of science, mathematics, poetry, language, literature, debates, music, sports, pedagogies, research, even research into the institutional areas. Over the time, such activities could be incorporated into the curriculum once appropriate faculty, expertise faculty will have the capacity and training to be able to approach students, not just as teachers, but also as mentors and guide in the teacher education program. So we can do what we can do. How can we inculcate? How can we organize? How can we give this kind of things or these kind of areas or domains to the student? See, we are doing the activities of, for example, exhibitions, or the in which you can say that we are doing the teaching aids exhibition, as well as the models, as well as the charts, and all other things in the periphery of the institution. Let them give the opportunities to, in the form of projects. For example, when the students are on the internship, they should organize a big level of science or mathematics or languages or social science exhibitions in the community centers of the city, where they have this kind of freedom as well as the powers to organize, to make them understand the actual science projects and mathematics as well as the social science subjects. So let them have with some kind of pedagogies associated conferences, roundtable discussions on their own with the school teachers, in the community, within the district, within all kind of things. If they will do, the MAD students will do, B.Ed students will do, 100% the conducive environment what you are providing will make them a different kind of teachers in the area or in their domain. To prepare student teachers for ODL offline and online mode, this is one of the important part, what we are not talking previously, but in the national educational policy, it is emphasizing on these three modes: the student support, student provide conducive environment, all programs, courses, curricula, as well as the pedagogy across subjects, including those in classes, online and ODL modes, as well as student support, will aim to achieve global standards of quality of education. Now the time has come that the student will not only be limited to the local areas. They can, through ODLs and through online mode, they can provide their skills to the other countries also very easily. So we should think over it that the training programs of teachers should be at these global standards. Internationalization and global scenario requires a very large number of digitized, techno-savvy and smart educators, along with the traditional teachers. Large number of these teachers should be required in coming era, in coming years, you can say that. So if teacher education institutes will not run on those standards throughout the country, I think chances of burnout are more in near future. And the debatable topic arises in my mind as well as in your mind also, that are these teacher education institutes and their students, when they will come in the field, when they will have when they have chance to explore or to showing them capabilities in the schools, can they perform with complete, competent enough? They really required or competent enough to show their capabilities and their skills in the schools as well as in the teacher education institutes? Do they require for society? Actually, this is the topic. These are the topic to be discussed within the community of teachers, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. We can have some debates on these parts also. Now, global study destination, the teacher education institutes should be now known as a global study destination to provide optimal learning environment as well as student support. Higher education institutes should develop their educational institutes, not only merge the locals, but also develop their capacities to cater international students in all disciplines, including teacher education. We are capable enough to train the students of other countries also as a teacher. Global scenario of education has given this opportunity to us that we can see, we can understand the teacher education scenario as well as the pedagogies of teaching of other countries. So why not we can start with the teacher education programs for the international students also. May various countries, they approaches us in the university, in the Suresh Gyanvihar University for mentoring the other universities in other parts of world, as well as for the teacher education exchange program to understand this. So we can start, we can have this thing with very much priority so that the skills of teacher educators will enhance as well as the attitudes of teachers to become the global teachers increases. Research or teaching collaborations and faculty student exchanges with high quality foreign institutions, what I am discussing, is mutually beneficial with MOUs, and this is the need of our hour. As the most esteemed expert, Dr. D.N. Sansanwal, also raised one of the questions on the quality of research. And I'm completely agree with Dr. Sansanwal that yes, the quality of the research is too degraded, too much on the lower limits on the points. It is actually arises due to the lack of development of scientific attitudes in service teachers as well as the pre-service teachers, along with the teacher educators, my dear friends, because we are not taking the pain to inculcate the scientific attitudes among the students, because we are just teaching them, just reading the content in the classrooms. We are not giving them opportunities to create or make the research in the domain of teacher education. So this conducive environment to provide the research in the teacher education program should be started from the very, very earlier stage in the B.Ed classes, in the form of action research, in the form of case studies, in the form of projects, or the preparation of the tools, day-to-day's problem solving methods. We have to work on them for inculcating the research attitudes in the teachers. Teachers are not having, if you will go in the schools, teachers are very much far away from the research. School teachers are not doing any kind of research, so they are not understanding the importance of research. If we'll talk about the B.Ed students are not understanding the concept of research as the 4-year integrated courses and the 2-year integrated 2 years B.Ed program started the action research as a part of curriculum in the internship program. When we are going to the schools for the internships, we have to give one kind of project to the student to make the one kind of action research in the school to start with the inculcating the environment of research in this field. The publications, copyrights, patents, we are very far away. The teacher education institutes as well as the teacher educators, they all are very much far away. We are not talking about the patents. We are not talking about the copyrights. We are not talking about the publications in the peer-reviewed or the above their Scopus, Thomson Reuters, or the Web of Sciences journals. If we will not provide this conducive environment to the students to publish their papers at the international level, how can we give them one of the significance or one of their identity as a global teacher? So these are the important things we have to come. We will provide some supportive environment to the students. We will start with these small kind of projects in the form of action research, as well as some kind of publications along with the teacher educators. So the students can learn a lot and develop their research attitudes as well. Research collaboration, student exchange programs with Indian institutes and global institutes will promote their special efforts. Credits acquiring, and we should give them extra credits or the extra marks for completing these kind of projects other than the normal or the core and elective subjects. So it should be the integral part or the important part for awarding the degree of B.Ed and M.Ed. We can start with this all in the teacher education programs. Student activity and participation is important for learning or for outcomes. So students should involve in all these areas like sports. Yeah, we are doing it. Always we will plan for the annual sports or a sports day or the annual cultural days. But how many of us emphasize teachers or the trainee teachers to go with the national and the international games? No, we will not provide any kind of these facilities or even any kind of motivation to the students to perform on those platforms, because they have come for the teacher education to become a teacher. How can they become a good sports person? So teacher educators or we people are not having the importance of these things. We should change our mindsets. The teachers also become the good sports person. The art club, art teacher, culture. So science teacher can become a good art teacher. Why not? It's 100% he or she can do this thing. Techno, robotics, artificial intelligence club, where they can understand the technicality of these things, so that in near future, their space will not be occupied by the IT people or the computer science engineers. The teacher should be trained at least on the grounds where they can perform on these part in their classrooms. So the coding as well as the other kind of tools, which is actually related with the artificial intelligence for demonstration, for presentations, for different digital pedagogy, should be introduced in the teacher education programs as well as the teacher education institutes to make them very smart, very technical and techno-savvy teachers. Eco clubs should be there because the ethical values and the human touch should be there in the programs. So we are doing, many institutions are doing this, but not all. Unfortunately, not all teacher education institutes are taking care of all these activities and the student participation. And the results, it's very much observed or very much clear or presented in the front of us that what is actually the scenario of teacher education programs. We have to revive, we have to establish again the gravity of this program again through all these student support and the learning, providing the learning environment to the student teachers. Projects, internship and industrial mentoring should be the part of the important curriculum aspects in the different teacher education programs. Now, what kind of financial assistance to the students? Most of the teacher education institutes and the universities are taking care of these things. That should be affordable fee structure, incentives to meritorious students, scholarships, free ships, educational loan on the campus, paid internships. Paid internships is actually suggestive because paid internships are not allowed in the internship program of the teacher education program, but for some kind of motivational, in the form of motivation, some of paid internship should be allowed. And this will give some good examples in front. We can keep some good examples in front of other student training. The placement activities should be there so that the students can get the good placements on the campus too. NEP 20, I want to discuss some part why I am talking all these things, because page number 43, section 15 is actually included exclusively for teacher education, where it is written, I'm just stating those statements, that teacher education is vital in creating a pool of school teachers that will shape the next generation. I'm highlighting this word, next generation. Teacher preparation is an activity that requires multidisciplinary perspective. Sansanwal sir has already discussed this multidisciplinary perspective. Formation of disposition and values, development of practice under the best mentors. Teachers must be grounded in Indian values, languages, knowledge, ethos, tradition, including tribal tradition, while also being well versed in the latest advances in education and pedagogy. I'm just emphasizing with the latest advances in education and pedagogy. My dear friends, we have to think over the latest advances. Though all the teacher education tried their best for the advancements, but if the talk is about the students, can you think, or can we rethink that how many students of ours are coming out with all advanced techniques learned by them after the B.Ed degree or the M.Ed degree, in order to improve and reach the levels of integrity and credibility required to restore the prestige of teaching profession. So this is the important aspect of today's conference, that we have to restore the prestige of teaching profession. The regulatory system shall be empowered to take stringent action against the substandard and dysfunctional teacher education institutions that do not meet basic educational criteria. After giving 1 year for remedy of the breaches, by 2030, only educationally sound, multidisciplinary and integrated teacher education program shall be in force. Though we all started our efforts that anyhow this teacher education policy will not come into the force, but this is the request that please upgrade yourself to provide all kind of multidisciplinary and the all kind of environment, learning environment, as well as the student support for the teacher education program, so that we can restore the teaching profession with the high quality standards. It is nothing harmful for us, it's beneficial for our coming generation. So this is actually, this conference basically is, might be, we will come with the outcomes so that we can understand the importance of national education policy for reviewing the teacher education program again, and have this kind of attitudes in our mind so that we can come up with the good as well as the best teacher education institutes in the global scenario. Teacher education, page number 43, section 15, again under the 15.3 is saying that in order to improve and reach the level of integrity and credibility required to restore the prestige of teaching profession, the regulatory system shall be empowered. I'm just repeating, I'm not repeating this again. So by 2030, we have to upgrade, we have to think that yes, we will be going to restore and we will going to re-establish with the new standards. What actually the assurance is given by the teacher education policy or the education policy to the teacher education profession. The faculty profile in departments of education will necessarily aim to be diverse, but teaching field research experience will be highly valued. Faculty with training in areas of social sciences that are directly relevant to school education, psychology, child development, linguistics, sociology, philosophy, economics, political science, as well as from science, mathematics education, social science education, and language education program will be attracted and retained in the teacher education institution to strengthen multidisciplinary education of teachers and provide a rigor to conceptual development. So my dear friends, we are safe. We have to rethink. Yes, we have to make the teacher education profession as well as the teacher education program strong at the global standard or the high quality standards, so that the teacher education institutes will not be swiped off in 2030. What the care, support, opportunities, and highest learning results. These are the pictures where the happy teachers, the happy students, engaged students are there in the classrooms. This is the outcome of the student support as well as the optimal learning environment in any institution. Thanks for listening. Have a nice and safe day. Jai Hind. I'm extending my gratitude to Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Dr. Council of Teacher Education Foundation, Delhi NCR chapter, so that I'm here in front of all of you. So thank you very much, sir. Now to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, to throw light on optimal learning environments and support for students. Very well explained the meaning of optimal learning, needs required in areas, teacher education curriculums, and development of leadership and decision-making qualities. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Akansha Srivastava, ma'am, Associate Professor, School of Education, Sarda University, Greater Noida. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. And a very good afternoon to all the organizers, the resource persons, and the participants over here. So it's my pleasure to be a part of this national conference. And as I have been requested to present my topic on optimal learning environments and student support. So I'll be starting with the presentation. Let me share my screen. Give me a minute, just. Give me a minute, just a minute. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So this NEP 2020 is basically something a very important, a very required change in the education system. And as the previous speakers must have talked about the initial basics of this NEP 2020, it is a document which is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 deals with the school education, part 2 with higher education, 3 with other key areas, and the part 4 is how we'll make it happen. So the part that I'm taking is basically from part 2, that is higher education part, And if I come in detail of this part 2, which relates with the changes required with the higher education thing. So you can see it starts with point number 9, because till point number 8 it is covered in part 1. So this, all these 9 to 18 that you can see over here, they form a part of the suggestions, the modifications required for higher education. And the part that I'll be dealing with is the one that you can see on 12th number, that is optimal learning environments and support for the students. A little brief about this education policy 2020. Like the initial one was 1986 one, and that also stressed on equity and access. But the difference over here is that this policy stresses on not only to access to education, but access to quality education. And that is something which is very much important, and which we'll be stressing all over this presentation, that why this quality concept is being stressed more in our this new education policy, and also what we mean when we say that more access to quality education. Because if you see about access to education since 1986 when it came, and then right to education and all, so access has been given. There's a drastic change in the enrollment of the students. Education has reached to remotest areas. There are policies, there are procedures. They are trying to give education to each and everybody. But the question is, what type of education? Is this education that is required? Is this education as per the requirements of 21st century? Is it meeting the quality standards? If not, then what we are supposed to do is what this policy focuses upon, that how we can give quality access access to quality education to the students of globe, not only of our country, basically. So these, if you can see this slide shows you the 5 pillars of this policy. And this particular point that is in my presentation, the learning environment and student support, it actually relates with all these 5 pillars. The pillars are access, equity, affordability, accountability, and quality. So in this particular, like, this is a very, very important chapter of this NEP, and it relates to all these, basically all the chapters relate to all these 5 pillars. But I must say that this particular chapter focuses on all these 5 pillars and tries to strengthen all these 5 pillars. So as the part that I'm taking is related to optimal learning environment. So the first thing we need to understand that what we mean actually by optimal learning environment. So optimal learning environment, if explained in basic terms, if explained in general language, like if we have a curricula that is differentiated, if you provide an environment in which the content is differentiated, is as per the needs of the different learners, you provide the assessment strategies that are different, that are not same for everybody. You cannot assess everybody through the same criteria. So if you provide the assessment techniques that are differentiated as per the content, as per the learner's requirement, if you relate your learning to the previous learning of the students, they don't feel alienated to the environment. They feel to be a part of something. They feel that whatever they are being taught is somehow related to their real life, is related to what they have done earlier. So these relating the content with the earlier knowledge of the students. And again, this optimal learning environment is very, very much related to collaborative learning, like developing these social skills in the students, in the children, basically, because our school is a miniature society, as we say. So we are preparing the students to be a part of the larger society. And if they don't know the collaboration, if they don't know how to work in a team, how to share the ideas, how to benefit from others' ideas, and how to work as a team, taking all the good points and creating something new, this all comes under creating optimal learning environment. And again, a very important thing that is the part of this optimal learning environment is the life skills. That is also one thing on which this chapter focuses, that to give the students the optimal learning environment, we have to create a classroom situation that is providing the life skills to the students, the basic life skills, the communication skills, the presentation skills, the problem solving skills, the critical thinking skills, so that once they go the word beyond the boundaries of the school, they don't found themselves alien, sort of like they become a part of that word easily, because this policy focuses on this thing, that it's not only the academics part that we need to give to them, we have to make them a proper fit in the society for which we are actually preparing them. So this is what optimal learning environment is. Now, if we come to the points that are covered under this chapter, so this 12.1, the first point, it talks about effective learning. So we need to understand what are the points that are covered under this effective learning. So the first is appropriate curriculum. Now, what is the meaning of having any appropriate curriculum? Basically, appropriate curriculum, if I say, I mean the curriculum that is engaging, that is interesting, that is relevant, and that is not dead curriculum. What I mean to say that it keeps on changing, it gets revised, it keeps on changing and updating as per the new knowledge requirements. So that is appropriate curriculum, that this policy says that if we have to opt for, and not we have to at any cost opt for this effective learning. So we have to focus on appropriate curriculum. Then engaging pedagogy. Now this engaging pedagogy is the student have to be a part of everything. They have to be a part of how the curriculum is created. They have to be a part of how this curriculum will be transacted. The pedagogies have to be very high quality, depending upon the content, depending upon the type of knowledge in that particular subject, depending upon the level of the students for whom this content is being made. So the pedagogy has to be the engaging one, not something that is forced upon the students. They are a part and parcel. Like they can say proudly that they want to study, they want to learn this thing. It's not something which is thrust upon them, which is forcefully they are expected to do something. Then it is continuous formative assessment. Now, if I say assessment, this policy says that assessment has to be scientific. You have to select the techniques for assessment, the strategies for assessment that are scientific, that are designed for especially continuously improving the learning and testing the application part. So assessment has to be not focused on any one aspect, as well as not focused in during some particular month of the whole academic year. It has to be a continuous formative assessment. We have to assess the students on different levels and for their different capabilities, and it has to be a continuous thing, not something done in the end and decided that you pass or fail. So nothing like pass or fail. This is, we give a chance to ourselves to improve on our teaching strategies and to the students to improve on their learning part. Then adequate student support is also a part of effective learning. So for student support, I mean to say that we have to take care. If I'm talking about effective learning, you have to provide an environment which is feeding to this particular thing, which promotes student health. Not only physical health, which promotes the students' psychosocial health. It promotes the students' fitness, their psychological well-being, preparing them in the ethical background. This all comes if we want our students to be actually healthy. Again, repeating, healthy, I don't mean that physically healthy. They have to be healthy in all the aspects, in their psychological part, social part, in their moral part, in their social part. So this all thing is a part of creating an environment that promotes effective learning. Now, if I come to the second part, this is the 12.2. Now, this part talks about a very, very important part of NEP, and that is about the operational aspect of running a higher educational institution. It focuses on how higher education institutions will be running as per this document. So that it says that we have to provide the autonomy to all the higher education institutions. Autonomy in what? Autonomy in designing their curricula, autonomy in designing their pedagogies, autonomy in deciding their learning outcomes, and autonomy in deciding what type of pedagogy or what type of assessment method they want to adopt. Now, this is something very, very important that I need to stress at this point, is that by 2032, it is planned that none of the institute, none of the higher education institute will be there which is not autonomous. Every institute will be a degree providing institution. You have to raise your quality, you have to make yourself expert in designing the curricula. And because if you are not able to do that, if as a higher education institution you are not able to reach these standards by 2032, because after 2032, all the concept of any college being affiliated to any university will not be there. No college will be affiliated to any university. So if any college is not updating itself as per the suggestions given by NEP, so what will be happening is either it will be asked to merge with some other college that has developed itself to this level that is required by NEP, or it will be merged with some university. It won't be affiliated to that university, or even if not that much, these institutions will be converted to public library, or will be converted to vocational training institute, some sort of that thing, but they won't be considered as higher education institutions if they are not in tune with the points mentioned by NEP, that they have to be autonomous, they have to create their own curricula, pedagogy, assessment, and provide their degree. So this is a very important point that has been highlighted over here. Now this 12.3 and this 12.4, I'll take both together. Like 12.3 is academic plans. Every institution has to integrate. They have to initially in the starting, they have to plan this IDP, that is institutional development plan, in which they have to look for all, they have to incorporate or integrate all the areas related to the development of the students. It can be any language clubs or anything that they want to incorporate in the curricula, or they want their students to participate. So they have to plan it initially, and it is being mentioned as IDP. And this 12.4, it talks about the students from socio-economic disadvantaged background. As I have stressed in my earlier slide about the 5 pillars, one of the pillar was accessibility, and another was affordability. So the point here is that no student on any background should be denied or should be restricted to reach to this higher education point. The reason being, after 12th, it's almost only 27% of the students who opt for higher education. There are many reasons behind that, but the policy stresses to increase this number, and for that, for any type of requirement of socioeconomically disadvantaged students, whatever requirement, whatever support they need, whether the support is in the form of scholarships, the institutions are directed to provide at least 50% of this scholarship to these students. Then again, if they need any type of counseling, if they need any type of coaching, so everything has to be provided. It has to be taken care that all the students, maximum number of students, they reach higher education, and there shouldn't be any such constraints which can be resolved. No such constraint should be there that stops the students from entering the higher education. And now this 12.5 is again a very, very, very important point, and that is ODL and online education. This point talks about that it is mandatory for all the higher, especially the tier 1 and tier 2 institutions. They have to incorporate ODL or MOOC courses as a part of their teaching learning scheme, as a part of their teaching learning program. There is no way, no other way. They have to do it. Is that either they have to be a part of ODL, or they have to select some platform of the MOOCs and provide their courses through MOOCs. The MOOC courses they can provide. It also suggests that any such course of any institution, some such courses of all the institutions rated by the students, which are rated like very high, which are highly rated by the students, that these courses are really very good. So the institute needs to convert those courses to MOOC and provide it when the course is so good, when the students are appreciating the course. Then why should it be limited to only those students who are a part of that university or that particular higher education institution? So the idea behind it is that that course has to be converted into MOOCs, and so that, and it has to be offered to all the students, like globally. It can be offered to the students globally, so that everyone can benefit from the best type of course of every university, of every higher education institution. So just think about the positive idea. Just think about the best that we will have the opportunity to get the best of every college, because that will be converted to a MOOC, and we all are free to enroll in that and get the advantage of that particular course. So this is, and again in MOOC and ODL, they have given a very good concept of the basket of courses. Like you can opt for a course from, say, Yale University, Australia. You can go for Stanford, a course, some credits from Stanford, and you can have the credits from IIT Kanpur. You can have the credits from IIT Bombay. What courses you need, what the best courses they are offering through MOOCs, you can manage your credits. The amount of credit is there. You can have additional credits also, and you can form your own basket. And the best, again, a thing provided by the policy is that this basket that you are preparing as per your interest, as per your choice. You see the difference. You are not forced to do this course. You are opting for this course. You have selected this course because you are interested in that. And that makes the whole difference. Once we do something we are interested in, it's nothing new, I am telling you. We do it in a wonderful way. And once we are forced to do something, we do it in the least interested way. So if you are selecting your courses, you are selecting your institute, you are selecting the teacher from whom you want to study. You first see the outline of the course, you see how they are teaching, you have the reviews, you have the feedback, then you join that particular course. And all these credits that you are earning, they are not going waste at all. They will be considered by the tier 1, tier 2 institutions, as well as by the industry once you are opting for some job. Or so these credits will be considered as a part of your total credit, and you can earn them on your choice. So this is again something very important. And also in this part is again important about MOOC and ODL, that the policy says that for developing these sort of MOOCs, for creating these sort of MOOCs, whatever financial assistance you require will be provided to you by special funds. So that they are supporting you in every possible way. In every, you need some technical help, you need some financial help, you need some guidance. They are pushing you. They just, both the things are going in our favor only, that they are pushing us towards this graph of success, and we just need to take the first step, then the total support is there with us. So something very interesting given by this policy. Now this point 12.6, this says that all these courses, whatever you are designing, MOOC courses or whatever pedagogy you are adopting, this is again related to one of the pillars I was talking about, the pillar of quality. So everything has to be on a global level. Your standards have to be global. Whatever pedagogy you are becoming an autonomous institution. You have the right to design your curricula, but we have to remember that with every right, there is a large share of responsibility also. So that's again on you. You have to maintain this quality because quality is again a very important pillar of this policy. So whatever pedagogy, whatever MOOC, whatever content you are designing, they have to be of global standards. Then second important part of this chapter that it talks about is about internationalization. Now this internationalization aspect, we need to first of all understand what this internationalization means. Internationalization is basically every year it's almost 50 million students who study in a different country in which they are born, a country which is different from their birth country. They go for higher education in some other country. So it's a big number, 50 million students opting for higher education in different countries. So if I am born in India and I opt to study in Germany, that's a process of internationalization. And somebody born in Germany opts to study in India, that is also internationalization. So why this policy has stretched so much on this part, it is an interesting fact. The fact is that from this 50 million students, it's only 40,000. Just see the small share. It's almost only 40,000 students who come to India to study. So there's a big market to be captured. There's a huge number of students whom we can give, if we improve our quality, if we give them such things that we can attract them to Indian institutions. And that is also something which needs to be stressed here, that Indian institutes, Indian higher education institutes are among the very good ones in the whole world. Like they are better than almost 80% of higher education institutes in the world. So Indian institutes are so good. And if you compare them with, say, Southeast Asia or Africa, and these, so they come among, and technically you see generally the best positions in the world, they are our Indians who are going away from here. And this going away actually again is an important point why this internationalization has been a part of this policy, is that the students, Indian students going away is again a lot of foreign trade draining from our side. So that's economically also not good. So for that part also, this has been stressed in this internationalization concept, the internationalization part. It stresses that what we are supposed to do is we have to harness this huge resource of the students. And for that, we have to, as my earlier speaker was talking also about the research. So the research part, because we are lacking, if we compare it with, say, in almost, if we say among 1 lakh higher education, we just say 1 lakh people. So in those 1 lakh people in India, it's only 15 people who are doing some good research. So 1 lakh and 15, just compare the number. So such a small amount of people are doing research. And if we compare it to Korea, so in every 1 lakh, it is 850 people doing good research. So research is something that is essential, that you cannot expect anything without research. The present scenario is, if you have to grow, if you have to be a part of this knowledge explosion, you have to be into research. So this internationalization part says that what we have to do is, the ministry will be signing MOUs with different ministries of other countries, with very good the top 200 universities. And what we are planning, what this policy is suggesting, what this policy is forcing, is that our good universities, our top tier 1 and tier 2 institutions will be given a chance to set their campuses in different countries, and so that those students can be a part of our institutions. And also, topmost universities will be given the chance to establish their campuses in India. And for that, a special type of laws and regulations, they will be there to, when you are planning something big, you need to have a good structure for that also. So that everything is in pipeline. This MHRD will be leading this with, as I told you, for these MOUs and others, and these act and regulations will be there. The online courses that are being stressed are again for internationalization, and also the courses that are very peculiar to India. India was a Vishwa Guru sometime. So why not to, when we had a legacy like that, so why not to use it again? Why not to be consider it again to be the Vishwa Guru? So for that, particular specific subjects that are related to India, like if Indology, like language, history, like Ayush medical stream, all these subjects will be provided to the international students also, so that they come to know about the rich heritage of all these things that we are having, and also to promote this Indian culture, this Indian legacy internationally. So this is again, and also they have stressed that the residential, the hostel parts of all those institutes which plan to have international students, their hostel facilities, the staying part, the guidance, the support, the psychological counseling, all these should be a part of the institution. And they should have an international students office also to cater for the needs of these international students. So that is they are trying to leave no stone unturned to this internationalization process, and making India a Vishwa Guru again. Now, this next part, the next part of this chapter, it talks about a student activity and participation, that is making your campus a home for the student, a vibrant place for the student, so that they don't run away from that campus. You need to have high quality of teaching learning, you need to have high quality of entertainment, you need to give them whatever support they require, the love support, the care support, the health support, the financial support, any and every type of support that is required by this student has to be provided to them, can be in the form of clubs, can be in the form of counseling centers, can be in the form of fitness centers. Everything has to be there in the form of financial assistance, scholarships. So every type of student participation has to be there. So this is all about my presentation, and what I like to again highlight is that why all this thing is important and required. That is, you see, when highest global rated universities are coming to India, then all those institutions that are today rated very high, so they have their competitors over there. So if you have competitors from all the world in your land, and you want to sustain, you want to survive, So that is again an idea behind that, that you have to grow. You cannot be stagnant. You cannot think that I am the best in India. So there's no more such thing. You need not to be best in India. You need to be best in the globe, best across the globe. So that is also an idea that if you need to survive, if you need to sustain, this is a push. I'm again telling that this is a push. It's a push with all the support. Total support is there. They have given you the framework, they have given you the directions, and the best part is they are giving you the support also. So we have to follow this, and I'm saying we have, because there is no other chance. If you are not following these quality instructions given by, you are no more a higher education institution. So to be a higher education institution, you have to follow all these things. And I think that it's a very, very important part of this national education policy. And it's really a good change thing that is coming up. So that's all for my presentation. And I like to end my slide with this word, that is a Japanese word that says kaizen, and that means let's change for better. Let's change for good. So that's my way of saying thank you. But still, if you all need a thank you slide, here it comes. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving information about optimal learning environments and supports for students. Very well explained about effective learning, internationalization, student activity, and participation. Thank you once again, ma'am. Now I would request Shalini ma'am for vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am. Shalini ma'am.
Thank you, Rosie ma'am. सर्वप्रथम
आकांक्षा मैम, जो स्लाइड शेयर कर रखी है आपने, जरा इसको रिमूव करेंगे?
Sure, sure, sir, sure.
Shall we start?
Yes.
सभी विदित जनों को मेरा सादर नमन। मैं शालिनी शर्मा, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, सरस्वती कॉलेज ऑफ प्रोफेशनल स्टडीज गाजियाबाद तथा काउंसिल फॉर टीचर एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन दिल्ली एनसीआर चैप्टर के सहयोग से आयोजित 2 दिवसीय राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी, जिसका शीर्षक न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 A new and forward-looking vision for teacher education के प्रथम दिन के कार्यक्रम में इस आभासी मंच पर उपस्थित शिक्षा जगत के उच्च शिखर पर विराजमान विद्वानों को धन्यवाद देने का अवसर मुझे महाविद्यालय की ओर से मिला। यह मेरे लिए एक गर्व की बात है। सर्वप्रथम मैं आज के मुख्य अतिथि आदरणीय शैक्षिक अनुभवों से समृद्ध डॉक्टर D.N. संसनवाल जी, पूर्व हेड एवं डीन देवी अहिल्या विश्वविद्यालय इंदौर को धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि सर ने हम सबको अपना बहुमूल्य समय देकर इस संगोष्ठी में अपने बहुमूल्य विचारों द्वारा न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 के साइलेंट फीचर एंड इट्स रिफ्लेक्शन को इतने अच्छे तरीके से समझाया कि किस प्रकार हमें क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, रीथिंक, रीशेप, रिसर्च आदि क्षेत्रों में या अपने जो लर्नर है या प्यूपिल टीचर्स हैं उनको इस क्षेत्र में नए इनोवेशन और टेक्नोलॉजी से किस तरह से तैयार करें कि वो आने वाले भविष्य में एक अच्छी और प्रभावी शिक्षक बन सके। तक उसके पश्चात मैं आज के प्रथम वक्ता डॉक्टर सत्येंद्र गुप्ता सर, डीन स्कूल ऑफ एजुकेशन गलगोटिया विश्वविद्यालय ग्रेटर नोएडा तथा चेयरपर्सन CTEF दिल्ली NCR चैप्टर को धन्यवाद देती हूँ। सर ने स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज इन टीचर एजुकेशन विषय पर प्रकाश डाला। सर ने हायर एजुकेशन, स्कूल एजुकेशन, फ्यूचर ऑफ NCT, PSSBS, GEC NPST के बारे में हमें महत्वपूर्ण जानकारी दी। धन्यवाद सर। इसी श्रृंखला में मैं हमारे बीच उपस्थित दूसरी वक्ता डॉक्टर श्रुति तिवारी, प्रिंसिपल स्कूल ऑफ एजुकेशन सुरेश ज्ञान विहार जयपुर, मैम को धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि श्रुति मैम ने हमें ऑप्टिमल एनवायरनमेंट एंड सपोर्ट फॉर स्टूडेंट विषय पर अपने ज्ञानवर्धक वक्तव्य से हम सबको लाभान्वित किया। मैम ने बताया कि किस प्रकार हम अपने आप को अपग्रेड करके स्टूडेंट एनवायरनमेंट को और ज्यादा एनहांसिव बना सकते हैं। साथ ही मैं डॉक्टर आकांक्षा श्रीवास्तव मैम को धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी, जो एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर स्कूल ऑफ एजुकेशन शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी तथा डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफ CTEF दिल्ली NCR चैप्टर हैं। धन्यवाद मैम, मैम ने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण जानकारी दी। साथ ही मैं डॉक्टर KM भंडारकर सर को धन्यवाद देती हूँ। सर CTF दिल्ली NCR इंडिया के दिल्ली CTEF इंडिया के नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट हैं। धन्यवाद सर। साथ ही मैं हमारे कॉलेज के सेक्रेटरी श्री निर्मल सिंह सर जी को धन्यवाद देती हूँ। सर सदैव इस प्रकार के शैक्षिक कार्यक्रमों को आयोजित करने की प्रेरणा देते हुए हमें अपना पूरा सहयोग प्रदान करते हैं। धन्यवाद सर। तत्पश्चात मैं कॉलेज के प्राचार्य और इस कार्यक्रम के को पैटर्न डॉक्टर संजय कुमार सर, जो CTEF दिल्ली NCR चैप्टर के जनरल सेक्रेटरी हैं, उनको धन्यवाद व आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ कि सर इस प्रकार के कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से शैक्षिक जगत के प्रतिष्ठित एवं अनुभवी विद्वज्जनों के बहुमूल्य विचारों को सुनने का हमें अवसर प्रदान करते हैं। धन्यवाद सर। साथ ही मैं हमारे कॉलेज के शिक्षा विभाग की विभागाध्यक्षा डॉक्टर अनीता सिंह मैम को हृदय से धन्यवाद व आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ कि अनीता सिंह मैम की गरिमामयी उपस्थिति सदैव हमें अभिप्रेरित करती है। धन्यवाद मैम। साथ ही मैं इस कार्यक्रम का सफल संचालन करने के लिए मिस रोजी टिग्गा मैम, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर सरस्वती कॉलेज को धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि रोजी मैम ने बड़ी कुशलता के साथ इस संगोष्ठी का संचालन किया। धन्यवाद मैम। कार्यक्रम में के अंत में मैं विभिन्न प्रतिष्ठित शिक्षा संस्थानों से उपस्थित विद्वज्जनों, प्राचार्यों, सहायक आचार्यों, प्रवक्तागणों एवं छात्र छात्राओं वह इस राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी में प्रत्यक्ष एवं अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से सहयोग देने वाले सभी सदस्यों तथा विशेष रूप से CTEF दिल्ली NCR चैप्टर को पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए इस कार्यक्रम में अपनी वाणी को विराम देते हुए इस कार्यक्रम का समापन करती हूँ और आप सभी से विनम्र निवेदन करती हूँ कि प्लीज फीडबैक फॉर्म फिल करने के बाद ही इस प्रोग्राम से लीव करें। थैंक यू।
Hmm.